In my last video, I ended off on the note of being able to playfully express yourself, trying out new things, trying out different ways to what I call enhance your avatar, like trying out different hairstyles or clothes, even. Because I was ranting about my family and how I feel like this judgment a lot of the time, like they want to give you suggestions on certain things, and it's not the suggestions that really bother me from my family, it's more of the judgment of if you don't have this, if you don't employ this certain advice that I gave you, then you're lesser than, that kind of judgment. And it's always, like I said in the last video, giving a little bit of more context, it's like beauty or appearance wise, or like performative appearance, like that type of thing, like performative appearance advice, or like, I don't know, how you present yourself. And I feel like when you have these people suggesting to you these certain things, and then when you do it, you see that they kind of downplay the version of you that don't have these quote unquote enhancements. Because that's the kind of way that I put it in the last video, but I recommend you go watch it if you haven't. So, my whole point is that I feel like we have not, you have to create a space for yourself where it's going to be no judgment, or not no judgment, but you have to create the space for yourself to like kind of experiment and play around. And I feel like that gets taken away. I have a list of things that I have like in my head. I didn't write them down. I should have wrote them down so that I would have it organized. But one of the things that kind of squashes that for me, squashes my creativity and self-expression and trying different things, is, like I said in the other video, when my family, when I do what they like say you should do, okay, and then they talk down about the version of me that did not have the enhancement. Do you understand what I'm saying? I employ the advice that they gave me, and then they talk down about the version of me that didn't have that said thing. And I feel like when you're putting things on a hierarchy of it should be like this, or don't do it like that, or only do it like this, you can only do it like this, it takes away from the playfulness and creativity and self-expression when you put things on a hierarchy. And um it like discourages out the box thinking, you know what I mean? Like when you're like, oh, it should only be done like this, it discourages out of the box thinking, like I already said. Like when we don't put things in a hierarchy of like, oh, your hair is in a, I can only can think of hair examples, so sorry, but I can only think of hair examples. But when we, if we put things in a hierarchy, also I was watching African Hair God's most recent video, or it's his most recent live about his situation going back and forth with, I don't know, I can't explain the situation. I'll put the link in the description, but there was this girl who he was going back and forth with. He's a natural hairstylist, and she was talking about natural hair. So there was kind of a clashing in opinions and perspectives. And in that, I'm watching the live because I didn't watch it. Like I'm watching the live right now, and there's a point where the woman who he's like going back and forth with is like, "Oh, your clients get styles, they get twists, they get braids when they sit in your chair. So therefore, they're not actually loving their natural hair. They're not actually wearing their natural hair because they have it in twists or braids." And I'm like, but like a lot of his clients don't use extensions like him in his hairstyling thing. Like he doesn't really use extensions in his braids or twists either. And also he doesn't blow the hair out before doing the twist. He does the braids and twists with natural hair. You know how people blow the hair out before you do braids and twists? He doesn't do that. And I'm like, she is saying that, oh, because you're styling it, it's not natural anymore. It's not like fully natural anymore. And it's like, no, it's just a style. It's just styling. Just like what I was saying with that last video with my family suggesting these enhancements, um, I don't have a problem with that. It's just the hierarchy of things. Like for example, with this, I don't with this with the live stream that I was rewatching of African Hair God, she was saying if you are styling your natural hair, then it's not embracing your natural 4C hair, like, because it's not out. And I'm like, no, you can style it and still embrace your natural 4C hair. And then I merged it with what my family has said and what I've heard about my family. And when I merge the two things together, it's like you can style your hair and still embrace your natural hair. You And then also when it comes to my family, of the hierarchy of, like, if it's not in a style, then it's not done. Or because I will say they use specific language that I don't like. Like, they talk down on if my natural hair is in an afro versus it's styled, and it's not. It's the talking down on when my natural hair is in an afro part that I really really don't like. So it's the hierarchy of things that really, like, bothers me, because I'm like, I should be able to try different styles um without y'all talking bad about one or the other, or styled versus not styled. When it's not styled in an afro, then it's not done, or I was walking around looking crazy, and it's just like, no, I don't like that. Like, and it just cuts off all expression altogether. And it's like, it's not that I don't want to try different styles, it's not that I don't want to get my hair styled, it's just that the way that certain people talk about it, more so. Yeah, because the whole realization when I was watching African Hair Gods live, and it's like, just because you have your hair styled natural, you have your natural hair style, doesn't mean that you're not embracing your natural hair. So I'm like, wow, like, everything is kind of coming together. And the reason, I don't know, this adds on to the last video. This is kind of a chaotic. I was trying to make it not chaotic, and because it's chaotic because this is like my first draft of this video. Usually I would talk to myself a lot about the same thing over and over and over again, and then once I've talked about it enough, I find a way to, like, condense it down. But this kind of started off kind of chaotic, but I hopefully y'all get something from this. I'm gonna try and name the video, like, very accurately, but um I don't know, maybe I'll clarify in the description, or the title will clarify it. But I was just thinking about that. Like, basically, for me personally, I see the judgment and the hierarchy of people telling you, oh, it can only be done this way, or alluding to that because you hear them talk about things in a certain way. Like I said in the other video, with when you have certain things that they say you should have, it's like, yeah, and then they start talking down about the version of you that did not have said thing. That's the part that I don't like. So that's the part that turns me off, kind of. And it's like, no, you can try different styles, you can be playful, but you feel stifled when you're in a space of judgment, whether that's from family or whether that's relating to this conversation I've seen on the internet. Like I said, rewatching the African Hair God live, his most recent one. I'm gonna put the link in the comments because I keep referencing it. But it's a long live. It's like 4 hours. It's like 4 hours long. But that's kind of what I took from it. Maybe I'll do a more condensed version of this video in the future. But this is my first draft of thoughts around this topic, and I hope you took something from it, even though it's, like, chaotic. Bye.